Hey guys, welcome to another episode of That Thing I Played, and today we're going to be talking about Avowed on the Xbox Series X, provided through Xbox Game Pass. In Avowed, you play someone called a godlike, someone who in the womb has been touched by the gods. Some see this as a blessing, others see this as a curse. And as a godlike, you've been sent here by your king to root out the disturbance of this mysterious new plague called the Dream Scourge. The Dream Scourge is thought to be the living lands fighting back against people trying to live there. Every time someone builds a new home or a new settlement, the land physically fights back through whatever it may be, vines, monsters, whatever. And the latest thing that it's been doing is the Dream Scourge. And the Dream Scourge has pretty much just been wrecking up the whole place, infecting people, animals, plants, pretty much anything you can think of that would be alive, causing them to have weird visions and making them violent at times. And as a godlike, as well as an envoy sent by your king to take care of it, it's your job to figure out what's going on, why, and to more or less help the townspeople however you want with their problems. So as a stranger in a strange land, as well as a godlike, people are going to pretty much react to you on sight. In the character creation menu, you can turn on and off the option for the denizens of the living lands to react to your facial features, which you can express one of a few different ways, and even change the colors of those features on your face. Alright, so now that I've rambled on enough about the opening, which took me way too long to write and get concise for you guys, but either way, Avowed is a great game. I really like it a lot. It kind of seems like the main story kind of gives way to the side quests, which is fine for me. I like to engage with big worlds like these and see all that it has to offer, as well as, of course, taking a look at the main story, but it's never really the crux for me. I like to make these games last as long as possible, so I'll do what I can while I can, and that just more or less works out for me, I guess, in the long run. I like to just try to complete an entire area as much as I can before I get sick of doing things. So saying this game is large might be, I guess, kind of I maybe more or less misspoke, but these worlds are dense. What they lack in, overall size, like your Skyrims or Fallouts, they're very concise in what they want to do, and the places that they drop you in are very dense. There's something to find around every corner, someone to talk to, some kind of challenge for you to complete to get a weapon, item, trinket, whatever you might need. And personally, I really appreciate that. I don't really care for, at least anymore in 2025, getting lost in these games for hundreds of hours only to miss a ton of stuff that I might not have seen otherwise, or I might have to refer to a guide to find. I don't have fun like that. I know that some people do, and that might just be their bag, and that's perfectly fine. But I like a game that respects my time, and I can jump in and out for maybe 10 or 20 minutes or so and still feel like I got a lot of stuff done, or at least just one or two things, and still come away feeling a little satisfied with what I've done with my time. So with that being said, I've played this on, I have been playing this on hard mode because I like a little challenge with my games, and honestly, it's kicking my ass in places. On that same note, I think the combat is really fun, actually. I like how the combo system works with the melee weapons. I like how holding down the trigger lets you do one attack, and then if you hold it down again, they kind of sweep their hand in the opposite direction where the follow would be, and stab or swing that way as well. I think that's also really interesting to look at and consider. And speaking of the combat, the best thing I can say about it is that it feels crunchy I guess. I enjoy how weighted the weapons feel, whether it be a sword or a spear or a hammer thing. They all just really feel great to me. And on top of that, I think the enemies provide a lot of challenge and a little bit of strategy. They seem to flank a lot, go around you, but to alleviate that, your party members call out, whether your enemy is to your left or to the right of you. And you can ignore it because there are also little arrows that point in the direction of an incoming enemy. But listening to their shouts tends to be a little bit faster, or I can react a little bit faster than trying to watch out for the little red arrow on the side of the reticle, really. When I first began the game, I may have been playing, I feel, a little bit too conservatively, trying to hold on to a lot of mana and things like that, just to make sure that I had, I guess, just enough to last me. But the game is very abundant with food and concoctions that you can eat and drink to make your health and stamina go up to aid you in battle. So after a while, I just kind of learned to be a little bit more buck wild. Use as many spells and magic as I wanted, as long as I had enough food on me, as long as I made sure to go back to the base camp and cook up some foods that would help during battle. I could do as much as I want, as often as I want. The next thing I wanted to talk about would be the companions that you have in your party. I'm going to keep it light because I don't want to give away too much. I'm showing footage from maybe the first 7 or 8 hours of the game, so only thus far you're going to see 2 companions. Kai and Marius appear in the footage that I have for you here. And my opinions on the companions thus far is that they're pretty great. They have a lot to say. It's very insightful. They give you tips into the world and how things work, because you're only going to get, for the most part, one-sided views from how people view you as an envoy from the king, essentially someone who comes to the lands to keep the order and keep the small man down. So having an inside perspective of some people who live in the living lands, as opposed to everyone who seems to kind of be angry at you on sight, is very helpful. And if they have anything extra or insightful to say, you can go back to the camp and it'll trigger these neat little dialogue scenes where you can have a back and forth with them and ask how they're doing, or ask about any particular thing. Or if they just have something to say to you that will further your understanding of them or the world around you. And speaking of the companions, they work a little bit differently than at least I'm used to in RPGs like this. You don't change their equipment, and by that I mean their armor or their weapons or anything they carry. They just have their powers and whatever they bring to the party. So they do have their own special abilities that allow them to scan the environment for extra weapons or items, as well as break open any breakable objects like walls or loose fitting wood or anything like that. But I think this system is kind of streamlined. I kind of enjoy it. It leaves you to do more with your own character, and you don't have to essentially micromanage 2 or 3 other people. You can only have 2 companions with you at a time, but your interaction with them as far as their inventory is very minimal. And I think that is to, I guess, speed up the gameplay a bit, because I don't personally mind dredging around the menus to make sure everyone has the right equipment to do the right things. But this at the same time still frees you up to do a lot of other stuff and to really dive in on your character specifically. So that's pretty much it. I really like Avowed. It's a great game. The companions are great. The gameplay is good. The story is great, although like I said, it does kind of take a bit of a backseat to the side stories, but that doesn't make it any less good or anything like that. I do have to say the companion interactions are a bit of my favorite part. Anytime, like I said, that there's a large shift in the gameplay, or the story moves forward, or someone sees something or you do something that one of the characters can relate to, there's always a little bit of side dialogue that gives you a greater view on what that character is and what they're all about, and I love stuff like that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me through this. while I figure out editing and how exactly I want to do these things. It's been a bit of a time for me, but I'm figuring it out. I'm getting a little bit faster as I go with these. I just need to, of course, be consistent. But, have a good day. Thanks for coming. Make sure to come back. Stay tuned. All those things that mean come back, like and subscribe, hit that bell or some such. Yeah, do the things. Have a good day, guys.